Hi YouTube. Today we're going to talk Josephus. Where we are in the video series is between the first two theologies, which are Jewish Christian theologies, very, very Jewish, and what later would be a radical revolutionary version of this theology. And in between, we have some secular mentions, and today we're going to talk about one of those, and that's Josephus. Many of you are aware of the Flavian testimonial in the book Antiquities of the Jews. That's not what we're talking about today. And I think you can make the case very easily that those mentions are interpolations. They're inauthentic. However, there is a mention in Wars of the Jews that I think pretty much everybody ignores. And today we're going to talk about that because that particular mention of Jesus sounds to me to be very authentic. So here we go. Josephus, Wars of the Jews, Book 6, Chapter 5, Section 3. But what is still more terrible, there was one Jesus, the son of Ananias, a plebeian and a husbandman, who, 4 years before the war began, and at a time when the city was in great peace and prosperity, came to that feast whereon it is our custom for everyone to make tabernacles to God in the temple, began on a sudden to cry aloud, a voice from the east, a voice from the west, a voice from the four winds, a voice against Jerusalem and the holy house, a voice against the bridegrooms and the brides, and a voice against the whole people. This was his cry as he went about by day and by night in all the lanes of the city. However, certain of the most eminent among the populace had great indignation at this dire cry of his, and took up the man, and gave him a great number of severe stripes. Yet did not he either say anything for himself, or anything peculiar to those that chastised him, but still went on with the same words which he cried before. Hereupon our rulers, supposing, as the case proved to be, that this was a sort of divine fury in the man, brought him to the Roman procurator, where he was whipped till his bones were laid bare. Yet he did not make any supplication for himself, nor shed any tears, but turning his voice to the most lamentable tone possible, at every stroke of the whip his answer was, Woe, woe to Jerusalem. And when Albinus, for he was then our procurator, asked him who he was, and whence he came, and why he uttered such words, he made no manner of reply to what he said, but still did not leave off his melancholy ditty till Albinus took him to be a madman and dismissed him. Now during all the time that passed before the war began, the man did not go near any of the citizens, nor was seen by them while he said so, but he every day uttered these lamentable words, as if it were his premeditated vow, Woe, woe to Jerusalem. Nor did he give ill words to any of those who beat him every day, nor good words to those that gave him food. But this was his reply to all men, and indeed no other than a melancholy presage of what was to come. This cry of his was the loudest at the festivals, and he continued this ditty for 7 years and 5 months, without growing hoarse, or being tired therewith, until the very time that he saw his presage in earnest fulfilled in our siege, when it ceased. For as he was going round upon the wall, he cried out with the utmost force, Woe, woe to the city again, and to the people, and to the holy house. And just as he added at the last, Woe, woe to myself also, there came a stone out of one of the engines, and smote him, and killed him immediately. And as he was uttering the very same presages, he gave up the ghost. This passage from Josephus is absolutely 100% talking about Christianity in the time of Josephus. And the first thing we're going to start off with is the idea that Jesus was a husbandman. Josephus gets this idea from the concept of being a good shepherd. The Christians are obviously telling everybody that he was a good shepherd. The second part, Jesus predicted the temple destruction. Obviously, that's in all of the Gospels. The three woes, that's in Revelation. The bride and the bridegroom is also in Revelation, as well as other texts. He was sent from the Jews to the procurator. In this case, Albinus. Josephus doesn't quite understand what the Christians are saying. And in order to put it in the correct time, he's got it with Albinus. What they're actually saying is he was sent to Pilate, but according to him, according to Josephus, they're wrong, because they're in the wrong time frame. He doesn't understand that Christianity is saying that this was quite some time ago. He understands that it is actually connected to the temple destruction. And of course, Jesus says nothing in his defense. He is sent back to the Jews and, of course, put to death. And then the final part of this, the stone rolled away. Now, the stone rolled away to me is probably the most fascinating part of this. I had detected about a year or so ago the idea that the stone rolled away could be very early, and it was detected by using Enoch's cosmology and the star mystery in Theophilus' Apology to Autolycus. What this is suggesting is that what Josephus suggests is that he was crushed by a stone. Apparently, the death of Jesus makes no sense to Josephus whatsoever, but the Christians keep saying that the stone rolled away, and either he wasn't there or he rose from the dead. So what Josephus says is that he must have been crushed by a stone, and that's how it ends up in Josephus. So it's a fascinating passage, and I would love for any comments on this. I'd love to hear any comments on this. If you've got anything, let me know. I think this passage absolutely nails what Christianity was, in a sense, how it could be understood. The first person to mention it in a secular sense is probably Josephus, and he doesn't get it. He does not understand what they're saying, and what they are saying makes no sense to him whatsoever. So I guess that's all I got for you today. Got anything, let me know. Thanks a lot, folks. Bye.